Hello YouTube, and welcome to my life, I guess. My name is Kate, and I'm recording this, I guess, or starting recording hopefully several videos, mostly from my own personal reasons, a whole bunch of them, but also because I kind of like to help raise awareness of chronic illnesses, invisible illnesses, and Ehlers-Danlos Syndrome in particular. So in case that isn't obvious, I suffer from Ehlers-Danlos Syndrome. And that is a connective tissue disorder. It's genetic, so I was born with it, but it tends to develop throughout your life, so that you might not know that you've got it. Some people never know that they've got it, but triggers like illnesses, hormonal changes, puberty, getting older, all of these things will eventually lead to a deterioration. So most people who have Ehlers-Danlos Syndrome spend their childhood being called double-jointed or a freak or something like that, because that's basically all that shows you are freakishly bendy. So you can do all of the little party tricks, like this one, and putting your hands flat to the floor. I could bring my feet over my head and touch my nose with my toes. Circus performer stuff. Gym teachers tend to think it's brilliant until they realise that you can't catch because you've got no proprioception, you have no upper body strength. So most people with EDS tend not to actually like PE, apart from maybe dancing and gymnastics. PE, physical education. I don't know if they call it that in the States, whatever. So yeah, I always had weird symptoms throughout my life, but I was in my early 30s before it started to really affect me. I found myself in more and more pain with everything that I did, suffering incredible fatigue. So I know it doesn't look like it now, but I used to be pretty skinny, pretty fit. I thought I was fat, and I thought that I was lazy, but actually I held down a full-time job. I was a senior analyst at a chemistry analyst firm, analysing drinking water, keeping it safe. Then I wasn't. I used to walk into work every day. I used to finish work and then go straight to a yoga class or a badminton session. At the weekends I had dance class. I was a semi-professional belly dancer, Arabic style, obviously not ballet. I know my accent is awful. I kept the house perfect. I was the woman who had it all. And then gradually I couldn't do it anymore, and I had to give up all of those extra activities until my entire life revolved around nothing but work and sleep. And the house was a mess and I hated it. And then eventually I had to step down from that job into what should have been an easier job. But that was even more stressful. And increasingly I couldn't keep up with anything. I was getting dizzy at work. I didn't have the strength or the energy for anything. But every time I went to see a doctor about it, they didn't have a clue. As far as they were concerned, it was all in my head. And eventually I was signed off work with depression. Given a medication that caused me to sleep 15 hours a day, and every minute that I wasn't asleep, I was effectively stoned. I don't remember much of what happened in the couple of years I was on that drug. Apart from that, I gained a lot of weight. which didn't help with the depression and certainly didn't help with the stress on my joints. But maybe it was that led to my diagnosis, because the more pain I was in, the more it became obvious that it wasn't just a mental condition, that there was a physical basis behind all of this. Eventually I actually saw a video on YouTube of someone else with Ehlers-Danlos Syndrome, and as they described the symptoms, I was just ticking off all of the boxes, and I thought, oh my god, this is it. And so I spoke to my doctor, and she said, well, I've never heard of this, but I'll refer you to a rheumatologist. And the rheumatologist wasn't much better educated, to be honest. And he tried to fob me off with fibromyalgia, but by that point I'd done a lot of background reading myself, and I was pretty sure. He agreed that I was hypermobile, and he did give me the hypermobile EDS diagnosis, but he also gave me a fibromyalgia diagnosis, which I don't think I have. I'm fighting that now because everyone recognises the word fibromyalgia, so they treat me as though that's what they're treating, but that's not my problem. I have more difficulty with instability of the joints than with pain. I do have the pain, but you can deal with that a lot better than you can deal with your joints simply not doing what you want them to do. You know, they'll slip in and out. Even chewing sometimes will cause my jaw to dislocate, or even just sublux. That's where it partially dislocates and kind of sticks there for a while and then goes back in on its own. But yeah, it's a variable condition, so I have days. Today's not been great, if I'm honest. I woke up at 7:15 in the evening, and it still took me another 2 hours before I could move sufficiently to come downstairs. And now I'm exhausted, but I can't bring myself to climb back up the stairs. I'm going to have to at some point, because I've got a pain management course tomorrow. There are days when I feel not normal exactly, because the pain never goes away. But when things aren't so bad, when I can manage more, be a bit more normal. And there are days when I can't even get out of bed. I'm going to try and keep a record of of every day. I'm going to try and make some form of recording. As you can tell, I don't have any fancy setup. This is a 10-year-old Ixus camera that I'm filming on. I don't have any fancy lighting. I don't own any video editing software. I imagine a bunch of the videos will be made on my phone, because if I can't get out of bed, I'm still going to try and make a video, but I'm not going to be able to set up a camera and all that stuff. And yet, instead of just getting a story of what it's like, I'm going to try and show you every day a little bit of what it's like to be me, to live with a chronic illness that most of the medical world has never heard of, doesn't understand, and dismisses as all in your head. Yeah. So that's about it. Good night for now. Bye.